Cam Newton is arguably not even a Pro Bowl quarterback this year. Carson Palmer, Pro Bowl quarterback, way better quarterback season this year than Newton. Same with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has thrown as many touchdown passes as Cam Newton has, and he's thrown half of the interceptions. And he's thrown over 1,000 more yards. And he completes about 10% more of his passes. And then, so that only leaves one Pro Bowl spot left. If we were not incorporating team records, you would take Matt Ryan or Drew Brees' statistics right now over frickin' Cam Newton's. So how can a guy who's not even a Pro Bowler be the MVP? His team is 13-0 because the Defensive Player of the Year plays on his team, linebacker Luke Kuechly, and his team's 13-0 because his coach is the Coach of the Year in Ron Rivera. But that does not mean we don't just go, okay, well, this team was by far the best team in their sport, so who's the most famous, best known player on that team? Okay, he's MVP. Stupid. Don't do it. But anyway, standings, that's where we were before I got off on my little anti-Cam tantrum. Buccaneers 6-7, Falcons 6-7, Saints 5-8. So all pretty much out of it there. NFC North, we got a race. We got the Packers at 9-4 and the Vikings at 8-5, Bears at 5-8 and Lions at 4-9. Moving to the West, we've got the Cardinals at 11-2 and the Seahawks at 5-8. So the Vikings are currently in that sixth and final wild card spot if the playoffs were to start today. Rams at 5-8, 49ers at 4-9, and then in the garbage division that is the NFC East, we have a three-way tie for first, all at 6-7. The Redskins, Eagles, and Giants, and then the Cowboys, the lone team that are kind of now out of it, at 4-9. Now, if the Vikings were to lose two of the last three, especially to the Giants, then there is a chance that they could miss the playoffs. However, it would require them losing at least two of the last three, which are against the Bears this Sunday. Da Bears. And then against the Giants, both of those games at home, and then the finale in Green Bay against the Cheeseheads. Now, also in that scenario, the Giants would have to not win their division and thus beat us out in head-to-head tiebreaker for the final wild card spot. So a lot of ifs. The Vikings are dang near clinched a playoff berth. If they win this week, they might be mathematically clinched of a berth. If they win two of the next three, they're for sure in. But again, I think they're for sure in no matter what happens. You're only going to get one of those teams out of the East, and then you're going to get the Seahawks and either the Vikings or Packers as your wild card team, and then, West is Cardinals and South is Panthers, and nobody wants to play the wild card Seahawks. They look like they could be the best team in the NFC right now, maybe even in all of football. Peaking at the right time. Everybody said, oh no, they're 0-3, you can't make the playoffs if you're 0-3, and da-da-da. And I said that was a bunch of hooey. And so far, again, pat on my back. Looks like Scotty Ball knew what he was talking about. Yeah, suck it, Trebek. All right. So let's see. Where should we go? This kind of covers playoff picture, covers injuries. You know what? It's still too much. We're pushing off. Dang it! I hate to do this, but we're pushing off the head coach hot seat topic for another show. Okay, because we just got too much stuff to go over yet, and we still got time to talk about that in coming episodes. You said episodes. Alright, sorry. But here's what I'm thinking. I think we go Vikings specific Purple Vein time now. And then we'll close out the spew with my picks of this week's games. Fair enough? Alright. So, that's right. Every week I talk about the Vikings because they're my team. Hopefully they're not your team, but they might be. If you are, condolences. But as of 2 weeks ago, I decided that I would have a introductory theme song for the Vikings segment, where I would spoof the Purple Rain namesake song and change some lyrics and make it Purple Vein. Well, it went, fantastic the first week, and last week it went even fantasticer. And I decided last week that I was going to try and change up the lyrics every week to make it, specific to the game it's following or the game that it's, leading up to. So I didn't finish writing this week's version. I'm just going to kind of wing it. We're going to see what happens. And here we go. All right. Doom. The last play of the game caused many sorrows. Doom, doom, doom. Sometimes I wonder if Norv and Teddy have half a brain. Doom, 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 doom. When AP's handing off to Mike Wallace, Packer fans are laughing. When Scotty Ball talks Vikings, yeah, it's called the Purple Vein. Purple Vein, Purple Vein. Wowza, yeah, that's baby making music is what that is, ladies and gentlemen. Vikings lose, heartbreaker. Weren't supposed to be in it anyway. At least that's what I said. That's what everybody else said. That's what common sense said. Anthony Barr not playing, Linval Joseph not playing, Harrison Smith not playing, other people who aren't quite as good, but we could, they'd come in handy at least now, not playing. So injury galore, and teams lost 3 of its last 4 now. But this was the hard part of the schedule that everybody who looked at this schedule talked about. And now we are in the final 3 games. 2 of those games are at home, back to back, and they're both against teams with losing records. So the schedule doesn't shape out too bad. We should have 10 wins, and then I want to say, as long as we win the next 2, we will be going into Lambeau that final week playing for the division. Because if we were to win, we would have the same record as the Packers, and we would have split this head-to-head season matchup, and we would have a better division record because we would have swept both the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears, where the Packers have lost to both the Bears and Packers this season. So, it's not even like we need the Packers to lose one yet, too, or anything. We just win the next 2 games at home against losing teams with losing records. And our Week 17 game in Green Bay against the Packers is for the NFC North Division crown. Period. Straight up. You don't need, to double, triple check any tiebreaker explanation. Nothing. No, I'm telling you, I already checked that stuff. Vikings win the next 2 games, irregardless of what happens with the Packers. Week 17 will be for the division championship. And that is, with it looking like the Seattle Seahawks might not lose again, like they'll probably go undefeated. And knowing then that, we lost the head-to-head tiebreaker against Seattle, we would have to basically win out and have Seattle lose. Well, no, if we won out, we'd win the division. So in order for us to get that coveted 5th wild card seed, Seahawks would have to lose 2 of their last 3 games. Do not see that happening. The 5 seed, we have no chance, and the 4 seed, we pretty much have no chance. Well, obviously we have no chance. It is either the 3 seed winning the division or the 6 seed being the wild card, and we will play the Packers 2 weeks in a row. Almost guaranteed it's looking like that right now. You can bank on it. First week of the playoffs, Vikings versus Packers for the 2nd week in a row. The only question is will it be in Green Bay for the 2nd week in a row, or will it be in Minnesota. But so okay, main things from this last week's debacle. Well, I shouldn't call it a debacle, but just horrible ending. The Vikings overall outplayed the Cardinals, were the better football team. They didn't dominate by any means. Listening to it on the radio as I was forced to, and then rewatching the film as I do every week for you guys to help enlighten you and make you better football fans, better Vikings fans. I couldn't help but notice how undominant we were. We were very, very good on offense, but we failed to close out drives and take advantage, capitalize on the opportunities that were presented to us until very late in the game when we were forced to catch up, when it's do or die, basically. For the most part, the offense as a whole played well. Offensive line played well. Teddy played well. AP played well. And for the most part, Norv Turner coached well. There were a couple play calls that were crucial and that were all on Norv. The first half one being the fumbled reverse, where we're moving the ball, or was that might have even been the beginning of the second half in the third quarter, I want to say. Yeah, I think it was actually. But we're moving the ball the way we've been moving the ball all game up until this point. Vikings offense looked incredible against that top 5 in the league Arizona Cardinals defense, both against the run and the pass. They're tops, and we did fairly well. I mean, we didn't pass a ton at first, at least it didn't feel like, but we were in control, and things were working out the way we wanted them, but we weren't getting points because at some point in time, Norv would get too freaking cute. Like I said, on the AP fumble, where, I'm sorry, but at what point in your brain do these words sound like a good idea? Let's call the play where we hand the ball off to Adrian Peterson, who then hands the ball off to another guy. It doesn't even matter what the other guy's name is, okay? The only time you ever run a play like that, that's a gimmick trick. We're desperate, nothing's working type of play. When you're just calling basic, simple, short passes and runs and gaining 4 to 7 yards per play on them every play and moving the chains at will for, throughout the course of an entire game, why then go with the stupid trick plays everywhere once in a while just for the sake of it? And then let's jump to the big topic of the game, and then we'll go over the film quick and get out of Purple Vein, go to my picks for the week. The last 23 seconds of the game, okay, I will tell you how this should have been coached out. Multiple, there's slight modifications, variations that you could implore and would be, still within the correct, way of thinking here. But so we have the ball at the 31-yard line, which is add 17 to that, so 48-yard field goal attempt is where we're sitting at. First down, 23 seconds left with no timeouts. I'm yelling at my radio at the time, before they even snap the next play. Take the middle and spike it. Take the middle and spike it. Take the middle, take the middle, take the middle, take the middle. What do? Drop back, try to throw a sideline incompletion throwaway. It's like, oh, great. We're just going to sit on the ball, run down some clock, use up the downs to get no yards, and then kick our 48-yard field goal. Here's a better idea. Run the ball up the middle or pass the ball short up the middle. Advance the ball closer, at least 5 to 10, 15 yards. The middle's wide open, by the way. Nobody's defending in the middle. They're all on the outsides and deep because that's where they think you're throwing the ball. And the plays you're running where you could just then get up to the ball because you've got enough downs, spike it with 3 seconds left, and bring your field goal unit on, go into overtime. Or if your play up the middle gets you the first down, then you run up and